Hi there, and welcome to this lesson on multiplying fractions. Now, multiplying fractions is actually a really simple process to follow, and it comes in handy not only in your exams, but it also comes in handy if you ever need to find the area of, say, a decking outside in the garden, or anything to do with recipes. Often you might need to multiply fractions. And it leads really nicely into our work with dividing fractions later on. So it's a good skill to have as a base level. So let's look at this first example here. Calculate 2/5 multiplied by 3/4. So to multiply fractions, what we do is we take these two top numbers there. They're known as the numerators, and we multiply them together. So 2 times by 3. And then we put that over the two bottom numbers multiplied together, these two here. And those are known as the denominators. So we do 5 times by 4. And now we take this one step further by actually doing the sum. So 2 times by 3 is 6. Over 5 times by 4, which is 20. So our answer to the sum 2/5 multiplied by 3/4 is 6/20. Now, this would be an okay answer, but we can take this one step further. That would be a perfectly good answer. But if we divide both top and bottom by 2, we get 3/10, which is our most simple answer. So 2/5 multiplied by 3/4 gives us 3/10. Okay, fantastic. So pause the video there, copy down the working for this left example, and once you've done that, have a go at this right example over here, and once you've done, play the video again. Okay, fantastic. So hopefully you've had a go at this example here. Let's just talk through it. So we take our top two numbers, our 4 and our 3, and we multiply them together, 4 times by 3. And we put that over our bottom two numbers, multiplied together. So that's 5 times by 4. And then that gives us 4 times 3, which is 12, over 5 times 4, which is 20. Now, this is a really good answer, but we look at it again and go, oh, can we simplify that any further? Yes, we can. We can divide both of them by 2. So what happens if we divide both by 2? Well, we get 6 over 10. Can we go any further? Yes, we can. We can divide by 2 again, which gives us 3 over 5, 3/5. So our most simplified answer to the question 4/5 times by 3/4 is 3/5. Fantastic. If you got that, give yourself a couple of ticks for that. Okay? Now let's look at a slightly different example. So let's look at that example there. Calculate 2/5 times by 3. Okay, so with this one, we're in a little bit of a different situation because as opposed to having two fractions timed together, we've got a fraction times a whole number. So first things first is we need to change this whole number here into a fraction. Well, any number, any whole number, is the same as itself over 1. So 3 is the same as 3 over 1. 4 would be the same as 4 over 1. And 5 would be the same as 5 over 1, etc. Okay? So let's just look at that. So if we know that 3 is the same as 3 over 1, we can rewrite this whole sum here. So let's rewrite that as 2 over 5 multiplied by 3 over 1. Now this is looking really similar to the type of example we had in the first example. So let's multiply those two together, the two numerators, 2 times 3 over 5 times 1 gives us 6 over 5. And that is our answer in the most simplified form. You might see some people write that as a mixed fraction like that, which is perfectly acceptable. I personally prefer a top-heavy fraction, but that's my preference. So the answer to 2/5 times by 3 is 6 over 5, 6/5. Fantastic. Pause the video there, and then copy out the workings for this example, and then have a go at this example here on the right-hand side. And once you've done that, play the video again. Okay, good, right. Let's have a quick look through this one. So we said that 3 is the same as 3 over 1. So we can rewrite our sum as 4/5 times by 3 over 1. We're going to times the top two numbers together, so 4 times 3 over 5 times 1. 4 times 3 is 12. 5 times 1 is 5. That's our final answer. You may have written that as 2 and 2/5, which is perfectly acceptable. If you've got either of those answers, give yourself a couple of ticks to that. And now we're going to look at our final example. So, our final example, calculate 1 2/3 multiplied by 3/4. Now in this question, we've been given that, which is a mixed fraction. So before we start multiplying anything, the first things we need to do is to change that into a top-heavy fraction. So 1 2/3, to change that into a top-heavy fraction, we times those two together. So 1 times 3 is 3, and then we add on the 2, put that over 3, which is 5/3. So now we have this, we can rewrite our sum. So we have 5/3 times by 3/4. And now we can do exactly the same as we've been doing the previous two. So that's 5 times by 3 over 3 times by 4. 5 times 3 is 15. 3 times 4 is 12. We can simplify that by dividing both top and bottom by 3 to give us 5 over 4. And that's our most simplified answer. You might see it in the form 1 1/4, and again, that's perfectly fine. Okay, pause the video here, copy out the workings for this question, and then have a go at this question. And once you've done that, play the video again. Okay, so first things first, we need to change that into a top-heavy fraction. 2 times 3 is 6, plus the 2 over 3 gives us 8/3. Now we rewrite our sum, so 8/3 multiplied by 3/4. So that's 8 times by 3 over 3 times by 4. We will get 24 divided by 12. Now we can simplify that by dividing both of them by 12. And if we divide both of them by 12, we will get 2 over 1. Well, 2 over 1 is the same as 2. Anything over 1 is just the top number. So our final answer there is 2. If you got that, give yourself some big ticks. Righty, well done there. So, as a check, pause the video there here and have a go at these 3 examples. And if you're feeling especially brave, have a go at that extension there. So pause the video, and once you've done, play it and I'll go through the answers. Okay, fantastic. Let's look at this first one. 4 times by 2 over 5 times by 3 gives us 8 over 15. And that's our final answer. Okay, and number 2. So first things first, we need to change this into a fraction. So we're going to have 5/6 times by 2 over 1. So it's going to be 5 times by 2 over 6 times by 1, which is 10 over 6, or 1 and 4/6. Either answer is good with me. You can simplify that answer to 5/3. Okay, let's have a look at number 3 over here. So first things first, we need to change this to a top-heavy fraction. So we have 1 3/4 times them together gives us 4, plus the 3 over 4, which gives us 7 over 4. Now let's rewrite our multiplication. So 7 over 4 times by 2 over 3. That's 7 times by 2 over 4 times by 3, which gives us 14 over 12, which we can simplify by dividing by 2 to give us 7 over 6, or 1 1/6. Either answer is good with me. And if we go on to the extension, I'll just fit this down here. We're going to need to turn this into a top-heavy fraction. So if we turn that into a top-heavy fraction, we're going to get 11 over 6. So it's 11 over 6 times by 3 over 4, which gives us 33 over 24. Now we can divide both of these by 3 to get 11 over 8. The units are centimetres squared. Okay, that's our final answer there. If you got all those, or whatever ones you got, come back up and give yourself some nice ticks for those. Fantastic. Well done, guys. What I'm going to do now is up here is a worksheet for you to complete. Now, I would go along and do every single question and make sure you lay your answers out nice and neat with all the workings and every step, because that's going to really help it stick in your brain how to multiply fractions. In a couple of seconds, I'm going to pop the answers up next to the questions. So it's up to you. My personal opinion is you would do question 1 and then you'd look up to see if you got the answer right. If you got it right, give it a tick. If not, see where you went wrong. And then you do question 2. So do a question, check the answer. Do a question, check the answer. So that way that you know that you're on the right lines. If you're feeling really brave, once you've done all these 12, have a go at that extension question at the end. Well done for working hard today, guys. And I'll put the answers up and hopefully see you in the next video. So here are the answers. Now these answers are in their most simplified form. So if you aren't getting the same answer as me, just make sure you've simplified that fraction down as much as you can. Well done for working hard, and I'll see you in the next lesson.